Welcome. We're going to be doing some two-step equations, so let's just go ahead and get started. We'll start with number 2 here. Number 2, we're going to solve for p. So, we're going to isolate p or get p by itself, right? So remember, just some things we're going to work on are inverse operations, and these are, at some point, we had p was equal to some number, right? Then somebody came along, they added 3 to it, then they multiplied a negative 3 times this p, and then came up with this 12, right? So we're trying to figure out what p is. Well, what we want to do is, using our inverse operations, is we want to subtract 3 from both sides. So we got negative 3p is equal to 9, right? 12 minus 3 is 9. The reason I subtracted 3 to begin with is our goal is to get this here by itself, right? The p. So by subtracting this 3, this just looks like it's closer to being solved, right? Now let's take our negative 3p is equal to 9. Negative 3p is just another way of saying negative 3 times p is equal to 9. And I always like to say it that way. Negative 3 times p is equal to 9 because that tells me what my inverse operation is. I know my inverse operation is of multiplications division. So if I'm multiplying this p by a negative 3 to get p by itself, I must divide by a negative 3, right? So these become 1. So I'm just left with p is equal to 9 divided by negative 3, which is negative 3. So I know p is equal to negative 3. Let's go on and do another example. Okay, let's look at this one. Sometimes people get confused because the variable's not first. Hey, if you want to rewrite it as negative 5k plus 5 is equal to 55, there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel better about this problem, go ahead and do it. Just rewrite it. Just remember, if you're subtracting a 5k, if you move that out front, that's got to be a negative 5k. So if you rewrite it this way, you want to subtract 5 from both sides. So now we're left with negative 5k is equal to 50. So I know negative 5 times k is going to give me a 50, right? My inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5, or negative 5. So I got k is equal to negative 10. So that's one way to do this problem. Some people don't really Other people don't like to move things around. Hey, that's okay too. Whatever works best for you. We'll take this original problem. Well, we still got this positive 5, right? Well, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So now you're left with a negative 5k is equal to 50 once again, right? And then just like before, we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. And we're going to get k is equal to negative 10 once again. Let's look at problem 5 since it's got a parentheses. This is actually going to be a little bit more than 2 steps, but in class you're going to see something that looks like this. So we know from previous discussions that we're going to distribute this 5, right? So you got 5 times v, which is 5v. You got 5 times 5, which is 25. That's equal to negative 15. Well, we're going to move our constants first. So I want to subtract 25 from both sides. So now we've got 5v is equal to negative 15 minus 25. So that's going to be negative 40. That's a 4, not a y. Alright, now you got 5 times v is negative 40. We're going to divide both sides by 5. These 5's become 1. So I'm left with 1v is equal to negative 8. That's number 5. We've got time for one more. Let's look for... There we go. Let's look at 9. 9 and 10 will work just the same. Well, you've got this m being divided by 10 minus 8 is equal to a negative 7. Well, just like before, we try to move our constants first, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Now I'm left with m divided by 10 is equal to 1, right? -7 plus 8 is just a 1. What's your inverse operation of division? It's multiplication, that's right. So if you're going to, since we're dividing by 10, we got to multiply by 10. If we multiply this side over here by 10, we got to multiply over here by 10. These become 1, or people like to say they cancel out, right? So now you got m is equal to 10. And that's problem number 9. You won't see any more complicated than this on your 2 steps, but I would know this for the test. There will be enough problems like number 9 to keep you from getting an 8 unless you know how to do them. Good luck. This worksheet's on the website. Practice it. If you have questions, ask.